I, 23-year-old female, dropped out of my sister-in-law's 22-year-old female wedding 2 days ago. Some background. I am currently 15 weeks pregnant with my first child and considered high risk because of my medical history. Before anyone asks, my husband, 26-year-old male, suggested this in the first place and fully supports my decision. My sister-in-law has always been very spoiled. She got a new car for her 16th birthday, didn't pay most of her bills in college, and is currently living rent and responsibility-free, no chores, bills, or even taking care of her own pets, with her fiancé in her grandmother's house. She's even told people all she has to do is ask her grandmother for something or to pay her way, and it'll be done that instant. It is also important to add that she was in my wedding last year. Current situation? She never officially asked me or the other women if we want to be bridesmaids. She just added us to a group chat, and that was that. Ever since, she has been a bit of a bridezilla. If I mentioned I couldn't go do something because my husband and I were saving for a house, she would say, "You'd only have to miss a day or two of work." When I asked her about which color shade she wanted our bridesmaids' dresses to be, she said, "It's the same on all the websites, just different names without telling which one was which." The final straw was last week when I explained to her I wouldn't be able to have my hair fully up because of the length, but I would try to do mostly up or half up. She replied with, "I'm sure you can find a way to do it up. You have time to figure it out before the wedding." On Monday, I sent her, "Hey husband," and I talked about it and have decided that it would be better if I were not to be a bridesmaid. With me being pregnant, I don't want to add additional stress or increase any risks I already have. I'm not sure that I will feel good enough to. I'm having a hard time finding a dress that will fit as well. I'm sorry that this is short notice. I just don't think I can do what you envision and be who you need me to be. She has not answered my text, but I heard from a family member that she is pissed off, and not in a momentary or minor way either. At this point, I want to tell her that if she has such little regard for me and my child's health and safety, then she doesn't have to be an aunt. So am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. No idiots here, but you're going from 0 to 100 here. Take this as a lesson in practicing better communication skills because you could have spoken up from the get-go instead of going along with this nonsense until you backed out, and now you're threatening to remove her as an aunt because she has every right to feel some kind of way about her sister-in-law dropping out of her wedding all of a sudden. Let her stew and she will get over it. You've obviously never liked her and let your resentment for her fester. To be honest, grow up. Comment 2. You're not the idiot. But if you continue to push this and say things like she doesn't care about you or the baby, then you're definitely going to look like the idiot. Be the bigger person. Focus on your baby. Eventually, after the wedding, she'll pretend like nothing happened. Don't let narcissists like her get to you. They're definitely not worried about what they did and asking people if they're the idiot. Get my drift? Comment 3. Thank you for the support and explanations for your rationale, everyone. A few of you suggested I leave the situation as it is, which I was already planning to do so. I just genuinely wanted to know if I should have said something sooner or just stuck it out. No, I am not actually going to tell her she doesn't have to be an aunt. It was how I felt in the moment. That's it. Thanks again. Now, for the next story. My mom divorced in her early 40s from my dad. Surprisingly, she met someone new who makes her happy. They quickly married, and he has been in my daughter's life since the age of 1 and has been calling him Grandpa since then. She is now 3. The other day, my husband says he would like her to stop calling him that because he's not her grandpa. She's old enough to understand, so we need to correct her. Background. My stepdad is very involved in her life, plays with her, takes her to the park, and helps my mom babysit. She adores him. I video call my mom weekly, and she looks forward to seeing him. I'd say he's more involved than my birth dad, who she also calls Grandpa. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Someday she will know the step ties and her ancestry and affiliations by marriage, and will still love her grandpas. Right now she knows the love. There is a need to differentiate between the blood and step ties. Comment 2. Not the idiot. He's her grandpa. Also, what does your husband mean by a 3-year-old should understand this relationship? 3-year-olds don't understand step-parent dynamics versus bio-parent dynamics. Comment 3. Not the idiot and WTF. What is wrong with your husband? Every little child needs a special grandma and grandpa. I had many of them, some of whom weren't even related to me by blood or marriage. Now, for the next story. Really quite shaken. Background. Having a tree cut down from our back garden and consulted with neighbors, of which the tree hangs into their garden, up to 3 to the right of our house. All seemed happy. Its going has dropped stuff into their gardens regularly. Even let us know that before we moved in, the houses on the back sent a letter to the council to get it removed, as it blocks out light and drops branches and seeds onto their garden too. Council said it's private property, so nothing could be done. I suffer from severe asthma, and this is made worse by hay fever in the summer, which I take tablets for all year round. But I still get really quite bad symptoms in the heat of the summer, making it unbearable to spend time in my own garden. This tree carries the worst type of pollen that I am allergic to, and it's also now slightly over the boundary, meaning a new fence would be impossible. Today, 2 neighbors from the street behind, not even the street we live on, ask us to stop cutting it down so they can try and get a tree preservation order on it and consult about it. I explain it's private land and we asked properties were told about where the tree hangs. All were happy for it to go. She said it gives her shade. I said she could buy a parasol. She said we were selfish for getting rid of a tree that causes at least 4 other neighboring properties a nuisance because a parasol would get too hot for her. Her, I assume, mother then joined, proceeded to walk onto our property and proceeded to take photos of the tree. I had to raise my voice and ask a second time for her to get off our property for her to leave. There is no tree preservation order on the property, and it's not in a conservation area. Am I the idiot for just wanting to be able to enjoy my own garden? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. An update. The guys who have felled the tree reported that there was a large amount of fibers at the part that splits for the 2 main branches, and that it would have been very likely over the winter that they would have gotten wet, frozen, and then damaged the structural integrity, meaning at high risk of falling onto neighboring properties. They've also said, given where the canopy reaches to, it's likely the root system was very close to the foundations of our house and would have been a very big problem very soon. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your garden, your tree, your property. No TPO in place. You have every right to remove it if you see fit. As the tree removal is already underway, there is nothing she can do. If she wants shade, she can plant her own tree and use a parasol until it is big enough to provide it. If she comes onto your property again, call the police and report her for trespassing. Comment 3. I have the biggest tree in 5 blocks in my front yard. It is gone. Next Wednesday, as it has been killed by Palo Verde beetles and is the wrong kind of tree for Phoenix. It is a bit juicy that the neighbor next to us is losing all their parking shades, but that is their problem, in their yard, not mine. Now for the next story. Background. I've worked at this school for a few years. They hire a person as an aide. We have a little bit of unpleasant history from a school I work at previously. We also live in the same neighborhood. She has 3 children that are not special needs but are needy that she enrolled in our school. She got fired for non-compliance of an individualized education program, IEP. Now she wants me to drive her 3 children to and from school every day. It wouldn't be much out of my way, but I worry that I would lose my prep time because of how needy her children are. Am I the idiot for not wanting to be responsible for 3 extra children before and after work? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. In my state, this is actually illegal. You could check with the school on that. Both driving them and supervising them in your classroom are liability issues. All you really need to do, though, is to tell her no. This is an unreasonable request, and she needs to organize her own life. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Not the idiot. This is a huge ask, and she's a former coworker, not a friend. And apparently there have been some issues already. How will she react when you go in late or need to run errands after school or your kids have their own activities? Let her figure out another plan. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your time. Use it how you want. This person sounds like they will be very willing to exploit you, so keep some distance. No need to inherit her stress and hectic scheduling. But info. Did she offer any kind of compensation for your time? And what's an IEP? Now for the next story. My mom left our life 10 years ago. Since then, my dad, 41 years old, has been raising me, a 16-year-old female, as a single parent. I love him so much, and I appreciate him for everything he has done for me. However, there is one thing that really bothers me. He sleeps with a lot of women. He is a very attractive man and has always been popular with women. He has had a few girlfriends from time to time, but none of them lasted very long. Besides that, he goes out on dates quite often, and I suspect he may have a casual sexual partner as well. He is careful not to bring his partners home when I'm there, but there have been a few times when I have walked in on them. Those were mistakes, and he apologized for them. I should also mention that he has never neglected me for any woman. Now, you may say that I have no right to be bothered, but it is very difficult for me to feel otherwise. It is especially hard because my friends often talk about it. They call my dad a DILF, and I don't like it. They don't mean to bully me, it's just a joke, but it bothers me. 2 days ago, I left my laptop open in the living room and went to the kitchen. My WhatsApp group chat with my friends was on the screen. My dad is not the type of person to read my messages or invade my privacy, but his eyes caught the message. I'd rather *CK the DILF. When I returned to the living room, he was looking at it. I didn't say anything, and he didn't ask. During dinner, he asked me how things were with my friends, and I replied, "Do you mean the message?" When he said yes, I told him that all my friends know he is good with women and that DILF is a joke regarding that. He wasn't surprised or angry, but he said, "Maybe you should have more appropriate conversations." In response, I told him, "Well, maybe you should sleep with fewer women so that girls don't see you as a DILF." He got angry and stated that his private life was none of my business. I then told him, "Your private life is not very private." After that, he sent me to my room. I know that maybe I should have chosen my words better, but it's hard for me to say anything else when he brings it up. He's a single man and free to live however he wants, but his choices affect me too. I'm considering apologizing for what I said, but it won't change the fact that I feel uncomfortable. Am I the idiot? Now, for the next story. My wife wants to be an influencer on TikTok and YouTube. She has been creating mommy content and content about her day-to-day life. When she told me this is something she wanted to do, I didn't have a problem with. I only said that I don't want our children, 4-year-old male, 2-year-old female, in any of her content. I didn't monitor her channel because it didn't really seem necessary. I recently watched her channel because I thought it'd be cute to see what she does in her day-to-day life. I found our children's faces in almost all of her content. I told her straight up, she needs to remove all of her content. She said that she knew I wouldn't agree, but she doesn't think this is a big deal. I don't like children's content. I feel like a lot of the time when you see that children make profit, they become less of your kids and more of a product, and your interactions become more performative. And I can see the same thing has happened to her because she posted a video of her getting our 2-year-old out of a tantrum and how she deals with it. But how is your first instinct to record and hold a camera while our baby is crying? She started crying, saying that she built this up, and this is her dream, and deleting her content will ruin it. And I said, I simply don't give a frick. If you don't delete it, I will consider a divorce. I know a lot of people have children on their social media, and I don't mind an Instagram or Facebook post. But to make videos seems too intimate to share. She told her friends and even hinted on her social media accounts that she has an over-controlling and narcissistic husband that doesn't want her on social media. I am currently being ridiculed by her friends. Am I being over-controlling or narcissistic? Edit. Someone asked what kind of content. The content isn't really harmful, just her feeding them and playing with them. But the two types of videos I have problems with are her recording our children's tantrums, and our 2-year-old still doesn't like clothes. We are trying to get her to wear them more, but our house can be hot, so she is in diapers a lot. I don't like the videos of our daughter in her diapers. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She can be a content creator without kids in the videos. There are plenty of things to do. She can still do mommy content without the kids. Packing their lunches, how she gets ready, meal prep, just talking about how she handles discipline, etc. You are the other parent and have a right to say no to them being in influencer content. As for the question of are you generally narcissistic and controlling, I don't have enough info. How often do you threaten divorce? Are you controlling in other ways? It kind of sounds like this is bigger than, am I the idiot? Your wife might be struggling in her role as a mom if she's this latched on to being a mommy influencer. I would look into that. Comment 2. A business model that is built on exploiting your own kids is both ethically dodgy now and building up problems for your future relationship with your kids. That dream sounds more like a nightmare. If she's going to conduct her arguments with you via her social media, then she's told you just about everything you need to know. I'm pretty sure YouTube removes content with kids if they're told it's without parental consent, not the idiot. Comment 3. Influencers are garbage. People who want to be influencers are on their way to being just as bad. The fact that your wife included your children in her content after you specifically made that a boundary is a major problem. Your wife is never going to be an influencer. What she will end up being is a neglectful, abusive parent. Your children will never have privacy when it comes to her influencer aspirations. Not the idiot. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.